Hello, everyone. Bringing you the last chapter of our Battle Roads coverage. It's Mark and Adam, and who do we have here?
We have Ty Smith and Squeaky marking. It is Game 3, do or die time at the Sherwood, Arkansas Battle Roads. This one, the last event for a lot of these players before Nationals.
Yeah, and this is really important for Ty, right on the cusp of qualifying for Worlds, as we've mentioned before. But he is really adrenaline rushing.
So with this being Game 3, Ty won the first game, Squeaky won the second game, which allowed Ty to go first. And of course, in this format, you definitely want to go first. So he's got the portrait for nothing. He's going to drop an oak and try to get set up here.
Yeah, we'd really like to see the Darkrai, maybe a Ultra Ball, Dark Patch kind of shenanigans going on.
So Ty will figure out what he gets here, and of course, the Lone Zekrom start could be an interesting thing for Squeaky, see what he gets out on the first turn, but Ty draws into Pokemon Gold, I would say. Ultra Ball, 2 Dark Energies, going to get the Darkrai. He has a Dark Patch in hand, and looks
He's got
like
two Dark Patches, I think.
Really good start for Ty.
So yeah, getting that 2 energy on the board on your first turn is a huge advantage, especially with an attack as good as Night Spear. So we'll see definitely some energy attachments going for him. And hopefully, for both players really hoping Squeaky draws into a supporter and Ty will be able to portrait that. But we'll see where that goes.
So Ty Dark Patches once, and he's going to pass. You don't want to blow both Dark Patches because you still like the element of surprise a little bit. Here's a dual ball for 2 for Squeaky, and it's going to be... could be an equal setup here if he gets the Dynamos out just in time and gets a good portrait from Smeargle.
Yeah, I actually really like the holding on to the 1 Dark Patch play. You know you're not going to attack turn 1, so there's no point in blowing both, and it's really going to give Ty a lot more middle game strength. He knows that he doesn't have to rush in this early game just yet.
Of course, we know that Ty's hand is supporter dead, but a level ball will get a second Dynamo out, and it looks like we're going to have a very nice game for Game 3.
So there's the attachment to Zekrom. It's not a great starter, and Zeal's really, this new kind of build that Zeal's is working with is a lot slower. They don't really have these really good starters like Thundurus. Everyone's dropped that, except for, specific Thundurus Terrakion variants, which I've heard of popping up. So it's really Ty's game to try and be the aggressor and take the first couple of prizes. He hits another energy, but I don't think he has the bridge to retreat, which is unfortunate because that Night Spear can really put some pressure on his opponents.
So he drops the second Dark Patch and has still a pretty good hand here. He's got Mewtwo and a couple of Junk Arms and the Tornado CX, which isn't really going to see play at this point simply because of the Zekrom board.
Yeah, for sure. Dropping the Tornado CX could maybe be the worst play Ty makes, but he's going to attach what looks like potentially a special Dark Energy to Smeargle, which is kind of a funky play. He does run Shaman, though, so there's always the potential for Shaman shenanigans, and he's just going to Junk Arm to get that Dark Patch back. And he's just really looking to Night Spear.
Portrait for nothing, but Terrakion is in hand for later. Ty does see that, but get the Night Spear out and put pressure on those Dynamos. You better evolve them to Eels or else you're going to lose them quick.
Yeah, and Ty would really love to see a catcher this next turn, be able to catcher up the other Dynamo and knock them both out in one Night Spear. But he's also going to take some big damage from this Outrage.
Going to take a 110 damage from the Outrage before any plus powers or anything are added to the equation here. And Squeaky's going to drop an N. Ty really only had just a few cards left in his hand, so he probably gets an advantage from this just by getting more cards out of his deck.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement. It's really going to be interesting to see how this foils out with this Outrage damage. It's pressure on Ty's side of the field, which is kind of surprising in some ways, but at the same time, Ty's going to be able to just respond to this pretty quickly.
So Squeaky also needed a new hand because apparently he didn't have any Eels on the board and really wanted to try to get some here. If Ty as a catcher, could be 2 dead Dynamos this turn.
Yeah, and that would be pretty much the best thing that could happen for Ty's side of the field. He does need to take care of the Zekrom, however. That's probably the most pressing issue because he only has 1 Darkrai. He doesn't want to lose his board. It's really kind of a scary situation for him. And I believe he's going to be forced to Juniper.
There's an N in there as well, and he's going to go ahead and take the N here. And having the switch in hand is really good to get the portrait off. Still has another chance to get that catcher here. Plus, he'll have a supporter of his own.
So that's a pretty nice portrait. That switch really came in handy. And we see an Ultra Ball, so we could see another Darkrai hit the field, but it would cost him 2 cards. There's a Dark and another Dark. but he does have the Super Rod if he really needs to get stuff back into his deck, and he's just going to grab the Darkrai.
Just go ahead and try to get a second one set up. Of course, the Darkrai on his bench did take a hit from the Zekrom, 110 on it, but he definitely has 2 KOs this turn, either way.
Yeah, and once you take care of the Zekrom, that's all your energy off your opponent's board. He'll only have one Dynamo in play. It's really going to be a strong play for Ty, and he does just hit the Sky Arrow Bridge, which is just going to help him all the more later on in this game.
And he also got the catcher, so he has the option of taking both Dynamos off the board right now.
I think I'd actually go for the... I think I'd hold off on the catcher.
Right, especially because the Zekrom's going to get the return KO, and that's something that you really don't want to stomach right here because you're not set up yet on the board, on the bench.
Yeah, his opponent's only real way to respond that I could think of is maybe a quick Mewtwo with DCE promoting Smeargle. He didn't drop Bridge, though. That's another important thing.
Killing one Dynamo is better than killing no Dynamo, and I imagine Ty will take the Dynamo and Zekrom kill here.
Yeah, the other... Ooh,
no.
He's going for it. Okay, so this is going to be interesting.
It's not a bad play, though. If there's no Dynamos on the board, there can't be any Electrics on the board, so he'll take the Zekrom return KO and leave it up to Smeargle.
We also don't know the contents of Ty's hand. He does have the energy on Smeargle that he can Celebration win. He also potentially has Dark Patches. You know, we can't see everything. So there's still a lot of things Ty could do to be able to get up another Darkrai to Night Spear with.
Now, something that I see here is that, did he take 2 KOs there? I want to make sure that he took 2 KOs.
Yes, he did. There's actually another Smeargle that just got benched.
Okay. So Ty does take 2. He's down to 4 prizes left. Squeaky has yet to take a prize here in this Game 3, this deciding Game 3 of Sherwood Battle Roads. Another Zekrom goes down for Squeaky, and it's a monster, as we saw in Game 2.
Yeah, and if you can get the Eviolites on those, that's really key. And the End's going to help here, bring Ty's hand down. It looked like he had some energy, and he also had an Ultra Ball, I believe, which could get him another energy off of the Smeargle and onto his Darkrai.
Of course, Ty will get 4, Squeaky gets 6. It'll be a shorter pool to Portrait from, but if Squeaky does take that Portrait, as we can see, it may be really good for him.
But he's just going to play it safe. You know, you don't want... He might have had a hand that you can't Portrait just because you have to be afraid of Juniper. And sometimes it's better just not to Portrait if you don't really need it.
Ty has a quick turn, drops a special Dark Energy on a Darkrai and Junipers. He hits another Dark Patch and a Catcher here. And I believe I saw a Junk Arm as well.
Well, if he has the Junk Arm, I think it might have been a Switch.
I think it's a Switch. Excuse me, it was a Switch. But he still has a Portrait available. And if he could take out that Dynamo this turn, it would be pretty key, especially since he has an Electric in his hand.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Ty's going to whiff that Portrait. That's really going to hurt him. Missing a turn of attacking, especially when your opponent has this Zekrom that's outraging for 110, you know, that'll knock out your Smeargle, that'll knock out just about anything. But for some reason... Oh, he's retreating to the other Smeargle. So that's a good play, just because you want to keep that energy on the board for Celebration Wind.
So Squeaky can come back here and take a good even up on the prize. Actually, they are tied on prizes here with... the KO on the Darkrai, I guess.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. So, with tied on prizes, really coming down to the wire here for Game 3. The Zekrom is a little bit angry with 90 damage on it and a 110 outrage, and he'll take a third prize, and Squeaky takes the prize lead.
And we see Ty drop an Eviolite. That'll help some, especially with Terrakion. That's one thing you've really got to be scared of. And we're going to see him Night Spear for sure this turn. And we'll see if he can, you know, try and use a couple of Dark Patches, maybe get some more energy on the field. Really start setting up that that last Darkrai for when you need it.
Now that Zekrom is pretty brutal out there with 90 on it, and it'd be nice if it was 100. What do you do here if you're tied? Do you try to capture up the Electric and still try to take Eels off the board, or do you deal with Zekrom?
What I would do is he does have the catcher in his hand. I would Night Spear, kill the Zekrom, or knock out the Zekrom. Sorry, Robbie Actor. And then I would put 30 on the Dynamo. Ooh, we have a jump here.
Yeah, this is my fault, actually. We had the battery die on the camera here, but we do assure you we get the end of this match.
All right, so what he did do was what I was saying, was he knocked out the Zekrom, put 30 on the Dynamo, and took 2 prizes. So here again we switch. We see that Squeaky has played some sort of supporter. We're sorry for this. This was technical difficulties. His Zekrom has also been knocked out, So it's currently 2 prizes for Squeaky and 2 prizes for Ty.
So this comes down to the end of it, and I promise you there's no other transitions at this point. You will see the end of the video on this scene here. And it comes down to the wire. Of course, 2 eels on the bench for Squeaky and just a Smeargle active and a Darkrai ready to go for Ty.
We do see that he only has 1 Darkrai, though. That is one of his Darkrai's has been knocked out, clearly. He also has an Eviolite on that Darkrai, which is really going to help. He doesn't have to be afraid of Terrakion instantly. He can at least take 1 Retaliate, assuming no plus powers are played. I haven't seen a plus power played in these first 2 games, so I'm questioning if it's even played in Squeaky's deck.
It may not be. So Squeaky has a lot of thinking to do here. I would imagine he has a couple of Dynamotors to work with, but what do you do here? Of course, you hit the Darkrai head on. It looks like he has 4 energies attached to him, which could be a nice little chunk out of it.
It also looks that that 1 Electric has 60 damage on it, which means that it's just going to be Ty. If he can catch out the other one, he can just take out both eels and take game.
So X-Ball to the Darkrai, and here comes Ty. And here come those magical words, Catcher, Night Spear for game, and that is a tournament win. Battle Road's champion, Ty Smith, and those two championship points end up really being key in helping this young man get to Worlds.
So make sure you guys rate, like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys later.